Hi everyone, welcome to episode 53 of the XS Noize Music Podcast. Thanks for downloading. I'm your host, my name is Mark Millar, and today my guest is Louisa Roach, also known as She Drew the Gun. Louisa is here to talk about her third album, Behave Myself. If you missed last week's episode, I was joined by Pete Wiggs from St Etienne. We talked about their 10th studio release, I've Been Trying to Tell You. So check it out, and if you like the podcast, it would be amazing if you can subscribe and share with your friends. If you want up-to-date music news, album reviews and interviews, then check out our main website at accessnoize.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Search for the tag at XS Noize Music. Here's XS Noize writer Daniel Lynch with a taste of what's been on the website this week.
James have announced a huge outdoor show for July 2022. They'll play Manchester's Castlefield Bowl with the same setlist as their legendary Alton Towers gig from 30 years ago. All the details are on the website, and you can head back to podcast number 42 to hear guitarist Saul Davies chat about the band's latest album. Polly Scattergood's new EP, In the Absence of Light, gets a 7 out of 10 score from Amanda Stock. She says it's an inspired listen, while Michael Barron gives the new album from the Lathams an 8 out of 10 score, saying How Beautiful Life Can Be refreshes the Britpop sound of bands like the Stone Roses. Finally, with the return of gigs comes the return of our In Focus feature. Conor Kinahan caught the best of Dermot Kennedy at Belsonic in Belfast. In other gig news, Rory Nellis, The Darkness, Tori Amos, Foy Vance and Kings of Leon have all announced dates. All the details are at accessnoize.com.
She Drew the Gun returned with new album Behave Myself, the follow-up to the critically acclaimed Revolution of Mind, which was named among BBC Six Music's Albums of the Year. I caught up with She Drew the Gun songwriter Louisa Roach to talk about the album and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the XS Noize Music Podcast with Louisa Roach from She Drew the Gun. Hi Louisa, welcome to the XS Noize Podcast.
Hiya.
Where are you today?
I'm just at home in the Wirral.
Liverpool?
Just on the other side of the Mersey to Liverpool, just across the water.
Going back, when did you discover your love of music?
Music, I started wanting to play guitar and stuff when I was a teenager. So I think when I was about 13 is when I actually started sitting in my bedroom and playing guitar and actually getting somewhere with it. Just getting addicted to it, getting the buzz for actually playing. So that's how long I've been interested in playing. And then, I think I've always loved music along the way.
What sort of music was being played around the house?
So at my mum's would just be whatever was on the radio or on the telly, really. I'd say we got most of music from the telly, to be honest. And then at my nan's would be singing along to old country songs and Patsy Cline and stuff like that. And then when I went to stay at my dad's, he had he actually had recorded music. So he had vinyl, Bob Dylan and Neil Young and stuff like that, and the Beatles. And we never had recorded music at home. It was just whatever was picked up on the telly. But there was these different sources of music from different places.
And being from Liverpool, he's bound to have had a copy of Love. Forever Changes.
Oh, yeah. I think they hand them out in their hospital ward, don't they? Yeah. When you have a baby.
Great album. Well, you were you started writing songs in your late 20s. What was the catalyst that made you get out there and perform them?
I think I've been at uni studying. And I think the whole process of writing essays and stuff made me start working with words. And I was I think that's what brought out the actual writing a full-on song with a beginning, a middle and an end in it. And then I was oh wow, so I've written a song. And then after a while I wrote another one. And then kind of once you've got a few, you're should I go and perform it? And then just went to an open mic night and performed and that kind of thing. I think that was what started me off. Just doing an open mic night and then getting half an hour's worth of music together and then saying, well, what should I do with this? So it was that kind of thing.
Can you remember the first song that you wrote that you thought, right, this is a really good song? I know this is a good song.
The first song that I wrote that was What Will You Do, which ended up on the first album. And that was the song that made me go, oh, wow, so I can write a song. So, and then it took a while till I wrote another one because I was just like, I've got this song. And then it did end up on the first album. So it did all right. Yeah. And then it just like started flowing after that. It was a slow trickle at first. And then after a while, it's the kind of song started flowing.
Well, she drew to go on return with new album, Behave Myself. Did you go into the record with any preconceived ideas, what sound you wanted and the kind of songs you wanted to write about?
I think the songs, when they started to come, they kind of like take a shape of their own. Like you started to think, oh, this is turning into this kind of thing. And then you kind of, I don't know, like, yeah, I think at first you just take it one song at a time. I think that's what I was doing. Just because at first I was like, oh, it's a total blank page. I don't even know if I can write anymore. And then you start like getting a couple of songs together, and then it kind of takes its own form. I think I just wanted to carry on the journey from where the last album took off and to go a little bit more radical, a little bit more fiery, and just come up with something that would take the sound to another place.
And you certainly have. It's an excellent album. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. And the album was produced by Ross Orton, who's worked with Arctic Monkeys, The Fall, The Kills, Working Man's Club, and many others. How did you enjoy working on the album with Ross?
Loved working with Ross. It was Jack that suggested him because the album's got like really guitar sounds, and it's got like, we sort of like went in a bit more into like dance music with this, and we were like, we need a producer that's going to be able to bring all that together. And we noticed his stuff with Working Men's Club recently anyway, and then Jack was like, what about Ross? So we asked, and then we just went up to Sheffield for a day to see how it would go, did one tune, and we all got on like a house on fire, and it was like, yeah, it just felt right. So we ended up doing the whole album there. But yeah, it's so much fun working with Ross. He's got so much, like so many different tools under his belt, and it was just loads of fun as well.
Your last album, Revolution of Mind, was critically acclaimed and was named among BBC Six Music's albums of the year. Did you feel pressure trying to follow that up?
I think they always say like it's the difficult second album usually, don't they? So yeah. I think I was kind of like, oh, I've managed to get through the difficult second album. So now it's kind of like exciting to see where we can go next. I think there is always like pressure. I think there's always that like little demon that goes, what are you going to do? Like, have you even got anything else? Do you know what I mean? So you've always got to fight that off a bit. But yeah, I think it was just excitement of being able to do something fresh.
Well, the first track I heard from the album was Cut Me Down. On the surface, it's a great pop song. But when I delved deeper, I learned it was about the Chilean Las Tasas protests, where thousands of women took to the streets and performed the song and dance using blindfolds and in protest of state violence against women. You know, it's powerful stuff dressed up in a pop song.
Yeah, I think I was just like, I thought it was really inspiring, the fact that it was like performance art. And I was like, you know, I could put that into a song and, you know, kind of carry my little baton to carry the tune a little bit, carry what the stuff that's going on around the world, to carry it a little bit further. And even like if it makes someone go, oh, what's all that about? And like read up on it, then that's really cool. Yeah, and I like to have songs that have got a little bit more beneath the surface. If you scratch a little bit beneath the surface, there's more going on there.
Certainly made me look into it and, you know, and find out information about it, you know, so you certainly did your job with me. The latest single and album title track, Behave Myself, just been recently remixed by Arctic Monkeys' Matt Helders. It's very different from the original. How did Matt get involved?
Matt got involved because he actually messaged Ross to say he heard Cut Me Down, and he was like, I love this tune, and messaged Ross, which we were all buzzing about, just to have like Matt say that it was great. We were buzzing. And then I think just from that, we were like, well, do you fancy doing a remix of it? You know, like, well, we've got him here, let's ask him to do a remix. And it was too late for him to do Cut Me Down, he liked Behave Myself. He was into that as well. So we managed to get him to do that.
And the video for the original track, you seem to have a lot of fun making the video, and playing around with the very important lyrics. I love the lyrics. The rage of all women condensed to the point of explosion, and the silence of violation finally broken. I will not behave myself. I'm cheap labour and I'm overpriced beauty promotion. Brilliant.
Thanks.
But
yeah,
it was great to actually see it. Doing it in the video.
Yeah, I think it was like kind of wanted the video to seem like it was like almost like an Instagram feed of different, like the different lines that were in the song, because each line is like can be packed with meaning and can like say something about like the world that we're living in now and about like feminism and late capitalism. And I just thought, let's like do something that looks kind of sleek or looks like it's kind of like trying to be an advert, but underneath like the messages, there's a kind of twisted narrative there underneath it. I just wanted to like play with the lyrics and I don't know, have a bit of fun with it as well.
My favourite song on the album is The Rose's Tale, the final track.
Okay.
It's a beautiful song and a great way to finish the album. What can you tell me about that track?
I just played that on guitar, so I was just like doing a little finger picking tune, and that's how it was when we went into the studio. Most of the other tracks, I mean, pretty much everything we'd already demoed. Really, like we'd fully demoed it, so we went into the studio with a blueprint for everything. But that tune, we just went in with this guitar, this like finger picked guitar tune. So that was like the one that was mostly created in the studio. So we just like, let's just do a beat, and Ross kind of did his magic with the cool beat and stuff, and that's how it kind of took that different path, which was cool. It kind of like reminded me a little bit of like Erasure or something, like a little bit of 80s pop kind of thing.
I got that, because I'm a big Erasure fan, so at that, a few songs in the album I picked up a bit of an Erasure influence.
I should have said that earlier on. My dad had an Erasure CD in the car, or tape, I don't know, but he had Erasure pop album. That's one of my favourites.
Yeah, the hits album, yes.
Yeah.
Love Erasure, they're brilliant. But you're not afraid to speak your mind musically, and you've certainly had plenty to talk about in the last year with COVID and government corruption, dodgy deals, the list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think more artists should speak out in their music about what's actually happening in the world?
Yeah, it seems a bit indulgent to not say anything about stuff that's going on in the world. But I suppose I am always drawn to like music and art that kind of says something about what's going on. Like that's the kind of stuff that really sticks out to me. I think like the really good art kind of holds up a mirror to society or questions or says something about what's going on. So I like stuff that does that. But I suppose there's room for escapism, and music's got lots of different functions, hasn't it? So I think that just maybe that's kind of where my kind of stuff lies.
Well, as mentioned, you cover a lot of relevant and important subjects. But is there a particular song on the album that you really want your fans to listen to that means most to you?
I'm most excited about just like people hearing a whole album, like because we've had because you put out little bits and it's like giving people a little clue to what the actual album's like. But I'm just excited for the people to hear the whole thing. My favourite song on there is probably Origin Song, and I think it's quite like quite not typical, but it's a good She Drew the Gun song. It's like kind of what we're about and stuff.
Well, as well as buying the album or streaming or whatever people do these days, people will be able to actually hear it live because you're going on tour in October.
Yeah.
How excited are you to be able to play live to a live audience again?
Really excited. Like it's been so long, and we got a little taste by doing a little strip back thing on the Guilty Feminist podcast last week, and to play in front of an audience again, and forgot like what it feels like. It's a really special feeling, and I'm just looking forward to seeing who's there and saying hi and getting, I don't know, just getting that like exchange of energy that kind of happens in a live environment. So really excited for people to hear the tunes and to see how it all goes down live.
And what song from the album can you not wait to play live?
I can't wait to play Panopticon, because it's like it's a different like vibe for us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
The smaller music venues have been struggling because of COVID and lack of funding. How important were those venues for you starting out?
So important. Like, you know, I did a poem about it all for Independent Venue Week. I think it was last January. I was on the vinyl thing that they do. It's just so important. It is like an ecosystem, isn't it? And I said in the poem, if you don't you got to nourish the soil to get the good air. So like you got to look after these grassroots venues, because that's how people come up. That's how good music grows. I don't think you can just like survive without them and just magic good stuff at the top, because like real live music needs to grow.
Absolutely. I must check out that poem. I haven't heard about that. I must check it out.
Yeah, it was fun.
Liverpool, I mean, it's such an amazing musical heritage. What new bands coming out of Liverpool now are you excited about?
So there's the Mysterines. They've got their debut album is yet to come out. I've been heard a few things from Monk's band. They recorded with Ross as well. I always go blank when people ask me about music. Yeah, they're a couple that I can think of off the top of my head.
Just a few more questions. I always ask my guests the following questions. Out of all the albums in your collection, who do you have the most records by?
I think it might actually be the Beatles. Probably be the Beatles.
Everybody says that.
Sorry. Typical.
Well, is there a particular one that stands out for you?
The White Album's my favourite Beatles album. I fell in love with that when I was like 11 or something like that. I was just like, this is so silly. But
yeah.
It's silly and it's raw and it's I don't know, it's a melting pot of different ideas, and I love it when an album's like that.
Which song or album is your guilty pleasure?
I would have even said Erasure.
No, you can't say Erasure or guilty pleasure now.
They're not guilty.
I would disagree with that big time.
But Hall & Oates, maybe.
Yeah, bit of yacht rock. Yeah.
Hall & Oates, I think, they always end up getting played when we're having a few drinks and stuff. Like, always end up getting played on the tour bus and stuff as well.
What do you enjoy most about being a musician, and what do you hate the most?
I think I enjoy just probably the creativity of it, and like I suppose it's like feel quite lucky to be able to, I don't know, put your stuff out there in the world, and then, you know, people respond to it and stuff. I think that's the best bit, is like people responding to what you do. And then the worst bit, what's the worst bit? Probably just like there is like always a feeling of like pressure to go on social media and to kind of I know you've got to, it's part of the job, but I suppose that's kind of the bit that seems like the hardest part, maybe.
You find social media the hardest part?
I don't know, just like, I think there's just a pressure from it, but I actually enjoy it once I've done something. Once I've finished doing a post and that, then I'm happy, but it's still fun. I don't know what else to say that's bad.
Well, I've got something that's bad that I found out about you. I found this about you when I was doing my research.
Okay.
Which is a bit negative. you're a big fan of Everton.
Yeah.
I'm obviously a Red.
Liverpool fan.
Yeah. So how did you feel when Rafa took over, and what are your hopes for the rest of the season?
I thought I wasn't. It wouldn't have been my first choice. Like, I was a bit like, oh no, what's going on? But then once he's in and that, it's like you've just got to get behind whoever it is, haven't you? And then he's had a really great start. So I think we've spent the least in the whole league. So I think, just if we can stay up in the top half of the table, and maybe see if because we're on a good start. If that continues, then who knows? But as long as we stay in the top half, and I don't know, just see ourselves through to this new stadium, really, and then see what happens, I guess, and get through. We're being caught up in a lot of the financial fair play stuff at the moment, aren't we? So once we can spend a bit more on stuff, then maybe we'll be all right. But if he gets us through, for now, he's doing well so far anyway.
Are they building a trophy cabinet for the new stadium?
I hope so, yeah.
Anyway, last one. What's next in the immediate future for She Drew the Gun?
Just going on tour, like taking this new music around the country, and the old music as well. Like, it's good we've got all this new stuff, and then we can pick our favourites of all the old stuff as well. And then, yeah, just seeing how that goes. Like, got the whole new album coming out into the world is like exciting and scary at the same time. So just looking forward to seeing how people like it, and what's after that, I'm not sure.
Well, there's nothing to be scared about. It's a great album. I'm really enjoying it,
Thank you.
I wish you all the best with it.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Nice one. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.